And welcome back. Let's bring it back to Nigeria here as we're about to unleash on you our extra special for today. Today we're tackling an urgent issue that affects countless of lives in Lagos. Yes, I said Lagos, and other bustling cities around the world as well. The mental health crisis fueled by the stresses of urban living. Now, a recent shocking incident in Lagos saw a commercial bus driver allegedly set his vehicle and Lagos State Traffic Management Agency officers on fire during an altercation over a traffic violation. Such a desperate and aggressive act not only underscores the growing tension on our roads, but also raises pressing questions about the mental state and the mental health toll that living and working in high-stress environments can take.
As more individuals in Lagos face pressures like financial stress, overcrowded commutes, and daily confrontations with authorities, we are asking, how can we better address the mental health needs of our urban populations? To delve deeper into this, we are joined by Dr. Bojubola Abiri. She's a consultant psychiatrist and associate lecturer who can help us. She's going to help us unpack the mental health dimensions of these high-stress situations. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Abiri. Appreciate you for doing this with us.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Doctor, let's get started. Seeing that video is unbelievably wild.
It was.
You know, and then it's jarring as well that somebody would think to want to set themselves on fire and cause bodily harm to everyone around them, right? And so when you see the video, you think it's not true, but it's true because it did happen, and he did in fact cause bodily harm to the LASMA officials. We could see photographs of them with the pictures of them being burned,
And himself.
and himself as well. So could you help us understand what kind of mental health issues are commonly seen among people living in fast-paced urban cities like Lagos? How does one get from sane to wanting to cause that level of harm?
All right. Well, I feel like perhaps the first thing I should say is, well, we've seen this one. We probably are going to see more things like this. And I want to take us back a little to a few years ago. There was this video that made the rounds and eventually went viral. It was during one of the difficult fuel crisis situations in Lagos. A young man was seated on a car, and an interviewer had gone to meet him to ask him, what do you think about the situation in this country? What do you think is going on? What should we do? And the young man, in all his frustration, ranted out saying, all of us should just die. So imagine if that young man had a tool. Imagine if he had a means. Imagine if he had the tendency beyond what he was saying. And who knows what he could have done in his own corners to either himself or people around him. And so generally, in trying to explain this situation and this video that we just saw where this bus owner, bus driver, picked up perhaps by the LASMA officials did was something that we refer to as the frustration aggression theory, described by a psychologist known as John Dollard. And what it generally just means is that when people feel overwhelmed, when they feel like it's gotten to the brim, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I feel very hopeless, chances are that the next thing that they will do is turn to aggression. And that aggression will not just be targeted at self, that aggression will also be targeted at others. Because at the end of the day, what this person just said was, I'm tired. What else do you want me to do? Again, it's important that beyond the frustrations in the line of work, we should also remember that as humans, people have different things that they're dealing with at the family level, in their own lives, with their own health, financial challenges, insecurity. Look at the power situation, look at the price of fuel, the queues, which are still in some places. People are actually dealing with a lot. And when people don't have an outlet, people don't have people to talk to, people don't have seemingly, important solutions to the problems that they carry, and they just go in, day out. Sometimes they just think, I feel so hopeless. Perhaps if I just, end it all, and not just take myself, but someone else as well, perhaps he would send the message home.
Now, this is a very critical breaking point you're talking about here, and we've seen that many times, like you've just said, where people are like, you know what, to heck with it. I'm just going to, Now, this is something we're seeing more and more in Lagos. And it often has to do with the authorities impressing their duties on people who are already frustrated. So the question is, when it comes to mental health, and in cities like Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, where people are going through these things repeatedly, it's like every single day. Do the authorities owe the citizens any consideration regarding how they exert their authority on them? Like in this case, the last mile official perhaps was going to impound the vehicle.
I mean, I counted the number of those officials. There were too many to
There was
impound.
a
There were
lot of
just too many.
But not implicating them.
Yeah.
Do authorities have that responsibility to also compute this into the equation? Lagosians, Nigerians are going through so much at this moment. Because even personally, I've gotten stopped more times now in these hard times than I got stopped by the police or the last mile agents or the FRSC before May 29th last year. I'm being specific, but do they owe us any consideration?
So I'll tell you this, tensions are very high, tempers are high, people's ability to cope with all of this pressure is thinning out by the day. I mean, this hits close to home because 2 days ago, a family member of mine had gone out to somewhere to see somebody and, gotten his car impounded on the guys that, the lane that you took, difficult economy. And so, of course, what we would say is that everyone is feeling the heat, some more than others, definitely. But like you rightly asked, the people in authority, even though they are humans like you and I, and it's something that we've constantly said, is that they owe all of us, they owe themselves, and of course they owe all of us a duty of responsibility to be responsible first for their feelings, their emotions, and how they go about their duties. This again is somewhat traumatic for me because I remember a few years ago, I was just coming home and while trying to get into a lane, I just had someone jump in front of my car and tell me that, I had broken a rule. Like, seriously? And then, of course, I had my car impounded. I had to make a few calls. Eventually, I had to pay money. It was frustrating because I felt cheated. I felt like, this was hard-earned money. And so you can imagine all of these people who live, of course, on less than $1 a day. Perhaps they're still struggling. I mean, all of us are struggling. All of us are trying to make ends meet within the difficulties of the economy. And so, yes, these officials owe us a lot. They owe us, to inform, to educate, to tell us what is right, what is wrong. But also when they are discharging their duties, they have to do it with a human face. They have to be extremely emotionally intelligent as they try to do their duties, not make us feel like, we're pawns and they're trying to, make anything of us. Because at the end of the day, if you're coming to a frustrated individual, chances are this individual has nothing to lose.
Right.
At that point, they're just like, you know what? Let's just take everyone out. I'm not just going to take myself out. So again, they need to be responsible for themselves. They need to be responsible for the citizens, as well as show responsibility in discharging their duties.
I want to drive that home, Judith. I want to refer to you here on this one. I, for the first time in my entire 25 years of driving, 30 years of driving, for the very first time, only last week, paid 2 fines, which means that the rate at which people are being, what's the word now? The rate at which the authority is actually going after people has increased. For the first time in 25 years, I paid 80,000 naira.
That is...
That has never happened before. So I'm frustrated. I'm thinking I'm going to pay my daughter's, buy my daughter a new bicycle.
Cameras, what?
And then I've never, maybe because I started working in Ikeja and the cameras and everything in any case, but it's frustrating.
Listen.
I got that out now, Judith. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We should do a collection for you at the office.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, mine is even a lot different, right? So, I mean, besides just the road enforcers and everything else, there's also the Nigerian situation that cuts at you. For me, it was the fact that I decided to melt my fridge on Monday, and then my freezer on Monday, and then by Tuesday the grid collapsed, right? And it collapsed again. I think Wednesday evening. It was in Wednesday afternoon. It collapsed again, and so by Friday. I was at the office. I came into the office very early, as I normally do. Went back home late, and immediately I opened my door. I said, I knew it. I knew it. I knew immediately.
I know that smell.
That I am, like I said, I'm screwed. I literally said it crying. I'm like, how much more can I have? I was just crying because I had just gone to the market, buy food, dissolve the freezer, cooked a whole bunch of new things because it's a new month, Anyway, so Dr. Viri, so the Nigerian situation also hits hard at us, right? How then, I broke down. I'm just in a dark kitchen, and then I haven't been able to get fuel. I'm
All by
coming back
yourself,
home.
nobody
I
to
have a
pat your
scripture,
shoulder.
right? No one to pat my shoulders. I'm over there like just dissolving, right? How can one, hold themselves during this soaring cost of living crisis that we find ourselves?
All right. Well, so again, while Judith has told the story, it's a very relatable story for all of us. On Thursday, I decided to stay at home to take a rest day because I was going to have a very busy weekend. I had pulled up all the things that I needed to do, planned. And then the power went from woo, and then it went. And then again, I read the news and saw that there was, an outage. And so again, we have common threads. We have common things that are hitting at all of us, common pressures, common stressors. But, what I think is very important these days is that they're coming at us so fast-paced. It's like we're not even getting a breather because while you're still trying to recover from one or get to the reality of one, another one is coming right in your face. Now, I must say that this conversation is not trying to absolve people who break the rules and, of course, should be accountable for wrongdoings. But when you look at something like traffic, it's extremely painful when unassuming Lagosians who are going by the rules and flout one rule are taken for granted by some officials. When people look at all of the difficulties that they're going through, the truth is sometimes people just want to disappear. You just want to stop and feel like, can I just pause time and let this harsh reality go over me? Mm-hmm. But the honest truth is we can only wish for that. That is not something that can actually happen. And so what we need to do to ourselves and for ourselves is to focus only on what we can control. At least that's what I do. I focus only on what I can control. There's some things I don't spend myself dwelling about, thinking about. It's something that we will need to make a conscious effort. Do the things that you can when you can, but avoid thinking about, things that are overwhelming, things that are distressing, and things that will put you in a negative space. Yes, definitely, there are negative things all around us. It's the reality. We can't fight the reality, but we must come to that point where we understand that, yes, it's difficult, it's painful, but how can I navigate and go through this difficulty at this point in time? Again, of course, one of the many things that we should do is to make our mental health a priority. Yeah. And of course, making your mental health a priority involves taking clear, conscious, and very deliberate steps. My mind must not break. What are some of the things that break my mind? When I start thinking about the things that I have absolutely no control over. Try and sleep well. I know that it's going to, cost a lot of things to a lot of people. The last time that there was a power outage, I had to run the generator till the morning because, again, this is me wandering in my own space. If I can put on the generator overnight and it's still this hot, I can imagine people who are going through a much more difficult time. And so it's to start looking for little things that can make our lives better amidst all of this difficulty. Again, we need to change the way we think about all of the stress. Right. This stress is not going anywhere. How can I make things better around me? Engage in things that you enjoy. So whether it's taking a walk, spending time with family and friends, exercising, please do it. And one of the biggest things that I know will help us in difficult times like this is embracing human connection. We all need each other. You see how we shared our stories this morning?
Yes, it was liberating.
Off his mind by saying, the first time. So speaking with people, understanding that you are not alone, understanding that we need, community resilience. That's what we call it. Our own individual resiliences may not be enough anymore. And understanding that someone else is probably going through what I'm going through. When we share our stories, perhaps we can also share, how we can survive and continue to support each other. Of course, the ultimate is that we hope that things get better. But while we are on our journey there, we need to keep our minds in a good place. There is no prosthesis for a broken mind, for a broken spirit, and so on. We shouldn't let our spirits break.
Dr. Abiri, it's too late to. I don't know what you're talking about. Because look, let me say this, right? I'm plagued with a mind and a brain that doesn't shut down when I go to bed, right? So when there's this buzz that keeps going in my head, right? And now there's now this tiny voice, right? Working in the newsroom and seeing how the news continues to unfold, and how you just see like this is so clear. How's it so difficult for everyone to see? Like, what can we do? There's now that voice that constantly says, "You're wasting your time. You should leave.
Obviously, Judith has a narrator in her head that tells about everything in her life. Which is very
I mean, it's
interesting.
like, and it's like the road not taking. You know what I mean? Like every single time I go to bed, the thing plays out the road not taking. You're wasting your time. You should leave. Like Smeagol from
Dr. Berry.
from Lord of the Rings.
Thank you, Smeagol, huh?
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Berry, for joining us today and giving us expert opinion regarding the situation in Lagos and every bustling city in Nigeria as we go through these economic downturns. Thank you for giving us hope, let's put it so. Once again, you said, make sure you take care of the things you can control and forget about the ones you can't. At least that will help. Dr. Berry, thank you very much. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you very much, Mazina and Judith.
Most
Have
welcome.
a beautiful day.
You too.
And now to you, Judith.
I beg you.
And this voice in your head,
I beg
it's
you.
okay. We all have it, but
All
for
have
some
it,
of us,
personal.
it's lower than the others. Yours is very
Mine is low. I can't even.
low but loud. It tells everything.
And it's always when it's at nighttime and I'm trying to quiet the mind. It's 'cause
I,
you're wasting your time.
I have one of those too, but it's not a little voice. It's a what's his name now? Morgan Freeman, who's narrating my life
Yeah.
in my head.
Oh.
I'll take that.
Oh, well, that's good for you because that one is just, I mean,
It's
just keeps
soothing.
telling you.
It's soothing.
I don't think mine is soothing or I don't know if my voice is soothing. Let me tell you what times is soothing. When I'm with family, right? When I'm doing things that I love or when I'm reading a book or I'm listening to an audiobook or most importantly when I'm reading a book. I think that voice is the most gorgeous thing I've ever
I
listened to.
think you just nailed it there,
Yeah,
Judith.
it's the most gorgeous
Find
thing.
something
Yeah.
that you're passionate about that
I beg you.
actually helps you. And that's,
Did I not
that's
say when
beautiful.
I'm sleeping that it needs to come
Sleep
to my
is
mind?
good, books are good, riding a bike is good. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of today's show, but we can't leave you without giving you our special takeout. Today, for takeout, it's the confusing state of people's belief or trust in office holders, especially when there is the allegation of corruption, but yet we're still so
The unflinching
resilient.
support.
So thank you very much, Judith. The unflinching support that we give these individuals even before the conclusion of an investigation. Ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen,
they're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Speaking of benefit, sorry to cut you, Mazzino. Remember the guy who the Uber driver
Yes,
who was
him. Assaulted by
by Mascot. He turns it 360 and apologizes to Alex Ikwacha, and it's just a constant reminder that you're wasting your
money talks and then you know what walks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll take out. Goodbye. See you guys tomorrow.
right now.